Oh, don't think I forgot. I've just been overwhelmed. I've had so many things to do, but on my list here of things to do, I was not going to miss this. Oh, yeah. Let me stretch. Let me stretch out for this one. Now, sorry about that. Some people hit my phone up. Joe Budden Carcino here. Don't forget to hit the Cash App up, and that's the kind of things that get us going. Carcino is the name on the Cash App. Karceno. And if you want to do the Streamlab, you could do that too. I answered a lot of your questions on the Streamlab. That video is coming too. It's already done. You'll probably get it sometime in the next few hours. But we got a lot of videos in the bag that's done. But let's stay on topic and stay on point with this one. And we want to get to it right now because I'm a little confused. If I said that right, I think I said it right. I'm confused. And you might say, well, what are you confused about, Carcino? You don't have a reason to be confused. What you confused about? I'm confused because I'm just amazed how someone can take a 180 spin from 1 year to 1 year when it comes to a situation involving someone who personally did something to you in your career. It's okay if you move on, but when it affects your decision making or your opinion, it's based on the fact that I don't want to ruffle any feathers or I don't want to jump out of my bag and say something that's not in the popular opinion. It kind of like confuses the general masses when you were so transparent on the last album review when his name was mentioned. This time his name was mentioned again on this album, but yet he didn't feel, the anger. And a lot of people said, man, what's up with Joe? Why is Joe acting like that? They must have threatened Joe. Give us the truth, Cino. What's going on here? Uh, guys, it is simple as this. Joe is in a different boat now. He's become that guy who can't be a certain way as he used to be. Ever since that blow up he did, oh, buddy, Joe has had phone calls. There were people telling Joe, you can't do this. Oh, you shouldn't do that, Joe. Joe, don't do that. Joe, this. They have relationships here. They have relationships there. Paul, Paul has a position, but Joe is protected because he got someone that's gonna fight for him, and Diddy. So now Diddy protects Joe as the reason why Eminem decided to take his stance on Diddy. Because Diddy's protecting MGK and he's protecting Joe. So Shady wants to aim at Diddy and make sure Diddy gets the blunt of the jokes. Diddy gets some heat put in his direction, which is a dangerous game to play. Especially when you're a guy that stays in the house like Eminem. Joe stayed out of it because here's the news. Most of the artists that they're talking about and most of the relationships that he has and his respect with Royce and everything else, He still wants to have some sort of relationship with these guys for other opportunities. He wants to build all these different platforms. He don't want to just have the Joe Budden show and Love and Hip Hop Joe and another show on a podcast on Revolt, the State of the Union, which just got picked up for its final season of its contract. So they get all the bag that was in it. They get to keep that whole bag. So now that they've made all the changes I suggested, I should get a check from that show, Joe, for consulting that television show. Told you 4 people was too much, and changing the angles was important. But now they listened. Now, anyhow, Joe is not going to, he's going to give you the impression that Joe is, I'm ready for anything, Em. He was, you go write something to inspire me to get out of bed. Then on this album, he sits there and tells you this is one of Eminem's best albums he's ever made. And you're scratching your head because I'm like, is he listening to what I'm listening to? Because I'm hearing some BS right here. I'm hearing a guy who's trying to attempt to make content, but he can't do it. I'm hearing a guy who's attempting to try to make songs with rappers that he don't like. And he's the one that don't fit on the record. And he's the better rapper. So now I'm questioning Joe's opinion because he knows this. Joe knows hip-hop. He knows lyrics. He knows words. There's no way you could tell me that song with Young M.A., that seems like a Young M.A. song that they squaz Eminem on. He don't even rap like he belonged on that record. And none of these records. You know why? Because he is out of common with everything that has been going on in the world because he stays in a bubble. He only knows what he sees on television or the internet. So he is out of touch with all of this world has to offer. All these MCs that's out here, that's rhyming, he don't interact with any of them. He think he grabbed Joyner Lucas, who wasn't even signed to him. Now he's trying to get him on it. Oh, I like Joyner. He makes the kind of records I like. Yeah, you saw his videos. Once he made that song, I'm Not Racist. Oh, I love the way that video went. I need to get with him. He's going to be your new muse for that music video you just made? Joe, you know this. This is the man that swagger jacked the Beastie Boys. Swagger jacked everything. And his day one guy, Royce, right? His day one Royce. Is Royce where he should be right now with Shady Records? Do anybody feel Royce is where he should be? To be Eminem's day one. Royce looked like Virgil, while Eminem is looking like the $1 Million Man. That's how it looks over there. It looks that crazy. Now, what we always got to do is take it back to the beginning, y'all. Let's take it back to the beginning. Because this going to get a little crazy for some of y'all who don't know and wasn't following or paying attention. Let's go to what happened with Everyday Struggle. Noah Callahan gets this show that Joe Budden creates. Okay, not academics. Academics didn't come up with the idea for Everyday Struggle at all. This show was created by Joe Budden, his brain, mind state, sitting in there with these creators. He brings this idea to Complex that this is the show and the format he wants to do it in. Complex agrees to this show. They wanted to put one of their own in there to moderate the show, to keep it going. Joe auditioned and selected Nadeska. When they chose someone else, he said, no, I want Nadeska to do it. And they said, okay. And they picked someone else to do the show. And he said, no, I want him. DJ Academics. So DJ Academics end up doing the show. They come up with the narrative of Joe just being the wild, crazy man, checking Academics on what he don't know about hip hop all the time, and people loved it. And it got a lot of hits because of Joe. It was built on the strength of Joe, but Academics brought in the people that are just, gamers and nerds. They start watching the show. But what happened is Complex is an internet-based company that's not even remotely connected with hip hop. Have a bunch of people in the office who barely know anything about hip hop except for what they like. And Eminem is probably the only thing big they really understand or know. They don't know anything about the culture of hip hop or how a hip hop show should be even ran. So they're trying to run it like it's one of their E4 shows on the network. So you got Joe Budden there to try to guide Complex in this situation. And first, they're thinking, okay, this is just something that's gonna, bring in a little bit of money maybe, and it'll be over in a year. Then it becomes the biggest thing that they've ever had in their network history. Now they like all their attention is focused on the show now. Now we're not listening to Joe's ideas no more. Now we're going to be implementing our information into the show. We're going to be implementing all of the things that we put into the show. We're going to bring in guests. We're going to get these sponsors in here. You guys got to wear these hats. And you know what this sounds like? And I don't know if you guys remember the movie Wayne's World. This is exactly Wayne's World. Wayne and Garth have a popular show. The big corporate conglomerate gets it and told him, you got to interview these guests. And here's your guest. We're going to tell you the guest, and you got to interview him, and you're going to do it the way we do it. We own the show. And he tried to walk and said, I'm going to take the Wayne World show. They said, we own it. Same thing here. Joe didn't like that they had a contract that pays them a certain amount. And anything that they got off sponsorship deals that they're sitting there advertising on their show, they don't even get a piece of it. Not 1 cent, not one dime. And they're getting big checks, and the two hosts on the show get nothing, but Nadeska gets paid. She gets a bonus bump for every million that show does. That show is hitting numbers and marks that they can't believe. They're getting checks. Joe and Act is not. Act is like just gonna take his money and keep his mouth shut. Joe's the one that's gonna voice his opinion. Act's gonna feel a certain way but not say anything. Joe wants to say something. Now, whose fault is this? It damn sure ain't Complex. Joe was acting on the faith that, okay, at the end of this contract, they're gonna realize they're gonna have to cut us in on the endorsement money and all these things out to the goodness and kindness of their heart. Company and business don't run that way. Not at all. Not remotely do they run that way. Joe Budden's name does not show up at the end credits of Everyday Struggle when he was on it. Not once. Do you know why? It says created by Noah Callahan. Joe did not have any complaints about that. He didn't care. Joe did not own the show no more. His contract read that Complex owned the show. They own the name Everyday Struggle. They owned all of that. So it's their show now. So Joe was like, I don't care. It's nothing without me. So now it's dead. I'll just start something else. But his bad business practices is what you guys should learn from. Because that model right there set the presence of you created that situation. You put yourself in that box. So now that it becomes popular, you took your value and you left. You left them the show, fine. But remember, Joe played the victim. But all of the mistakes was made by Joe. Complex did what they do. They're doing business. You signed away all that stuff. Took the money, did the show, didn't complain. All the way because they didn't do things out of the kindness of their hearts. Now, of course, he was doing his podcast, and that incident made his podcast grow. And Joe milked it for what it was worth. Now, they removed all the episodes containing Joe, even the ones with the Migos, which really blew the show all the way up. And now they're going about it, doing it their way, trying to make something anew. And that's cool. That's fresh if they want to go and do it that way. But let's speed that up to where we are now. Joe falls out when Eminem puts the Kamikaze album out. Right? He takes the cover, uses the Beastie Boys, comes in and uses that angle to, like, he's in a rage and wants to battle everybody, and he's name dropping everybody and all these songs. And to me, I like the content on the majority of the records because he had a angle. He was angry that people were sleeping on him. So it was his angry album. He had focus. He had a mission. On every song, he was letting people know, you're stupid, I'm smart, this is why it's happening. And you guys tried to erase me from the game. And now my records is not doing what it's supposed to do anymore. That's what was happening on Kamikaze. That's why Eminem dropped the second album in the second year. In the same year. 2 albums in 1 year. So all y'all who thought Revival was doing well, those was them lying about those numbers. Okay? Kamikaze actually had more buzz and had more hits than anything on Revival. And they know it. Now, let's move forward. Things that people misunderstand is Joe gave credit to this album because Joe clearly is trying to salvage and not have any traffic come his way in a negative point because he's creating new shows, new content, and wants to work with new sponsors. So him wanting to give the olive branch to Eminem and Kiss Up and now play I Won't Sabotage Your Work or Tell the Truth led to this, because there's no damn way this album he just put out is worth a damn. This album is a tad bit better than Revival. It's too many songs. It is not even, and somebody like Joe Budden knows better than that. So Joe's not being authentic. Joe's not being truthful. Nobody's going to play this album no more. It ain't a damn song. Everybody's already forgot that album. Nobody's talking about nothing on this album. And didn't I tell you that song in my review was going to lead to some crap overseas about the Manchester thing that happened with Ariana Grande? It's a different world, M. You can't go around saying these type of things that you used to say and just throw them out, ha ha ha, and laugh about these things. Now everybody's super sensitive. So now that you made that comment, Now the whole mayor of Manchester City in the UK calls your album disgraceful. Your whole album, just because of that comment. Parents now are speaking out who had kids that was injured by the bombing. You see, and I'm a guy that didn't know what he was talking about, right? I was just hating on the album. And I said, oh, that's not a good idea, Em. One, and it kind of it contradicts what your goal of your album was supposed to be that was explained to us. And the fact that we got Joe Budden over here lying to everybody, telling us what this album is supposed to be, and it's not that. So which one is it? That's what I'm saying. I'm not mesmerized here. I'm not. And is everybody going to forget this man said he bodied Jay-Z? He bodied Hove on his song. Jealous of Jay-Z. This is a man who stood next to Jay and M, right? M stood next to Jay, performed the song side by side, knowing damn well that was a song he did with Royce. Same vocals, same everything. He muted out Royce's vocals and used that song with Jay-Z. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you make a whole new song? Because you were scared. You were intimidated to write a new song. You took something where the verses people heard, you like, oh, okay, this is dope. And the song was already written and completed. Beat, everything. All they did was send the track over to Jay. Jay put his vocals in there. So there was a complete Eminem record on a Jay-Z album. Then on the Biggie album, what did he do? He took the verse that Royce the 5'9" did on the album Renegade, rapped them, just flipped some of the words around, and rapped Royce's verse for Dead Wrong. That's all Royce's verse, all the way through. I got a nut in my pocket, I got it. That is from the original Renegade song, from Royce's verse that he muted. I'm not mesmerized here. So you call it Eminem hate all you want. I'm saying I'm setting the record straight. Joe Budden has let you down. He did not give a fair assessment of the album. And I would rather Joe just don't talk about it. Just don't rate the album. You don't have to. I would rather see that than see that Joe. He don't have to be mad at Eminem. But give an honest assessment of that album. That album is hot garbage. And I'm not an Eminem hater, and it's the truth. The album is hot garbage. My assessment was fair. I gave it a fair listen. I gave it a fair amount of time before I put out any information about it. Now let's get to particulars. Jay-Z has made all the people around him basically millionaires. Dame could yell all he wanted, he was a millionaire. Beans has seen even a million. Bleak has seen a million. You know, Whether they still got it or not is up to them. All the people that stuck with Jay Browns, all them dudes, they multi-millionaires. Tata, all these guys, multi-millionaires. So he has made the most multi-millionaires of all the people around him than a lot of other rappers. I don't know another rapper that's done that. Multi. Now let's get to why you're not that. You're a multi-millionaire. If anyone in D12 a multi-millionaire, why isn't that? Wasn't they all represented by the genius, by the machine, by Paul? Your guys? Is Mr. Porter a multi-millionaire? He should be. What are you going to say? You made 50 Cent a multi-millionaire? You gave him the opportunity and the platform, but 50 was going to get that anyway. 50 had about 3 album deals already in the works from majors that were going to sign him. But he took the chance to sign with y'all because y'all could protect him. Y'all had a machine going over there. Y'all had a success. You have Dr. Dre, you have Eminem, you had the platform of success. Plus, you were Interscope and wasn't nobody finna mess with Interscope. So, Bazaar should have $1 million. The Canava, Con Artists, D12. Hell, he just signed Griselda. Is Griselda on his album? And shouts out to them because they built their own movement before they were even signed to Shady. And they're doing their own thing on their strength. And you know what they're getting? The push. They don't need Eminem on their records. But he's on there. But they don't need Eminem on their records. But he's promoting Griselda now. You see what I'm saying? When before, he wasn't promoting Slaughterhouse. Now he's got a track with Slaughterhouse on his album. Why was there no tracks with Slaughterhouse before? The same way he did The Outsiders, the same way he did D12, the same way he did Slaughterhouse, he can't even do that with Griselda because he's not a member. They don't have pictures with Eminem. They don't need it. They're there to use the label to help them get established and go further and grow their brand that they built. Staying the way they are. Now, on some of the records, you can see somebody tried to alter some sounds different and try some new things to try to help them go more commercial and branch out. That don't work. They work being them. If somebody from London don't get it, they don't get it. Now, I've already made this video longer than it should have been, but I like to be clear and concise. And don't forget, like I said, if you want to support me, support the page, hit the Cash App up. The name's Carceno, K-A-R-C-E-N-O, or hit the Streamlab up. You can hit the donate over there, and you can leave me a big message and, you know, contact me that way. It is what it is. I'm just trying to be truthful and it's possible because I couldn't believe Joe chose to go basically the kiss route, the kiss butt route. And that was soft from even Joe. No, you don't have to hate him. Nobody's asking you to do that, dog, but give the people the truth. That's all we have. I'm out.